strange, weird, abnormal, odd, awkward, bizarre, peculiar, creepy. Just, have any of these words described yourself? I feel like they describe myself, and I kind of like it. Is it weird? Maybe. Let's dive in and talk about it. Let's get weird, folks.
So I'm Dan.
And I'm Nick, folks.
We're old friends dissecting one topic at a time. People, technology, media, we've got it all covered.
Each discussion here is a deep dive into our unique perspective. Taboo, forbidden subjects, they're all on the chopping block, baby. We don't pander to popular opinion. We might even get a little bit dirty. Unique perspective.
This podcast may contain mature language and sexual content.
It's
It is for infotainment purposes only. With the pop.
Who did that? So join us. Have a good time.
Apologies. Open up your ear holes, because we're going to fondle your follicles.
Oh, I think they're live.
Perfect timing. Hey. Good evening. I'm Dan.
Hey, I'm Nick. Anyone else joining us tonight? Or will we be alone?
Someone is scratching on the door.
Probably a stray animal. You never feed them.
I shouldn't leave my front door open all the time.
No, you shouldn't.
I keep leaving ham hocks and T-bones out. I just strewn along the floor. Leads to interesting creatures during the night.
You hear that?
Oh, yeah. What is that?
Strange. I don't know. I made it up. I was like, that sounds eerie and strange. Kind of where I wanted to lead us. And I was trying to make it loud so you couldn't hear other scratching noises going on in the background of your area.
It'll subside. He weakens over time.
Will it? It weakens over time? That's incredible.
Interesting start for the weird episode.
Isn't that weird? There's a lot of weird stuff going on. They say the full moon brings out weirdness. Do you know there's actually truth to it?
Really? Is there a
No.
scientific fact?
They
wanted to believe it.
think I know. There's like a spike in certain activities, but it could be a research bias where you're looking for the information to be there. So what they think is maybe there's a small percentage of chance that your body's like 90% water. So like the tug of the moon is stronger during certain
Pulling you
ebbs and
closer
flows.
out of your shell.
Making you feel a little lighter. If you were 0.1% lighter, wouldn't you act 0.1% crazier?
I feel like I'm dancing on air. Wow.
Ooh, I don't know. There could be validity to it.
You got your definitions?
Yeah, I
down
actually wrote down
books.
every friggin' word.
Rustle those pages.
Well, the whole reason I want to do this episode is that I was definitely a weird kid. I was called weird. My classmates knew me as weird. That was usually the go-to word for me. Weird. I was weird.
I definitely do things that are atypical, non-conformist, which I guess is weird.
But weren't you like nerdy too? Like, 'cause you were smart?
Yeah, I was nerdy and awkward,
So
and
you combine them all. Isn't that weird? Or I don't know. Is that different?
I feel like this is going to lead into a section of the episode that we're going to delve into very deeply.
Sure, it might be. What I had written down is that it goes in like levels. Odd is just something it's occasional, strange, or unusual. It's unpaired. It's an event that may be just marked odd, as in you pass by and say that's out of place. That's not average. That's of interest. That's not where that usually is. That's not how that usually looks. That's odd. It's just a little different.
Snapping your synapses, sparking your interest.
Huh. That's odd. Not necessarily good or bad. Next up from that was strange. Strange, by definition, came from estranged, which was from the Latin term extraneous, which means that which is from the outside. Definitions include not normal, odd. That's funny. They use the same goddamn word. Unusual, surprising, out of the ordinary. And then unfamiliar. Something that just doesn't seat well even when you know it's out of place. It's like it continues to be odd.
Huh.
Not just because it's out of place, but because it's not natural. That's from the outside. Something's going on. And actually, a step up was weird. It's from Middle English, weird, as I often say to people. It means of the fates, destiny, etc. Having unusually strange character or behavior, deviating from the normal, bizarre, and of the fates, often ascribed to witchcraft and witches back in the day. And I was like, whoa. So weird is like supernatural strange.
Bizarre.
Like next level.
Yeah.
So.
And that comes from Shakespeare, the Weird Sisters, because they can control your fate.
The Weird Sisters. Yes, they did.
Yes.
Toil, boil, toil, and trouble. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't.
We may never know.
You don't. Right now.
Boil, toil, and trouble. I don't know.
He said toil
That's
twice.
Incredible. I think he says one of them twice, doesn't he? Boil, toil. Now you got to look it up. Awkward was like kind of more of a cutesy version. I think it's like causing difficulty, hard to deal with, causing or feeling embarrassment or inconvenience, not smooth or graceful.
Double, toil, and trouble.
I knew one of the words doubled. It was double.
Double,
toil and trouble. Interesting. Peculiar, bizarre is Italian. Oh, strangely unconventional in style or appearance. It's just so weird that some of these were more for people, some were for events, some were for like weather, and I was like, it's all subjective, I think, too.
Yes.
Because, like I said, growing up, we just said weird. Like if you were in first grade and someone looked at another kid doing something and they went, "That's strange," it would have been the oddest thing. Yeah. I would have been like, "Who says that?" So to me, weird was the word for all of this growing up, I guess.
Okay. I believe all of those definitions.
I was weird, okay?
It's not like you made them up on the spot. They're truthful.
Nah, they are truthful. Wikipedia condemns it. We can go into depth, but I don't feel like it.
No, I don't either. As you want to start our youth as a kid? It's like, kids are weird. Kids don't realize anything about themselves. They do things that require no insight, no self-consciousness.
So to bring us there was an interesting Vsauce video on awkwardness, I think is the video. It's either awkwardness or creepiness. It's one of them, and it touches on what we're talking about, but not exactly. But in this one, he draws a pyramid. I forget whose law it is. It's essentially all the things that you can do in your physical form, right? I could punch someone, I could build something, I could shoot someone, I could kick something, I could wear something. All the things you could do.
Okay.
They're defined by the laws of physics. It's the largest branch right here, right? Hey. Laws of physics.
Oh, yeah.
The laws of, I can't read backwards, of state.
Science, technologies.
The science, state. The laws we say, like you can't kill someone, you can't run out naked and flash your wiener at people. There's certain rules you can't do. Above that is etiquette. Yes. So etiquette is like,
nice and kind and gracious.
You can do it, but you shouldn't be rude. You can't push people out of the way. You can't chew in public. You can't sneeze at people on purpose. Technically, I guess you could. I don't think there's a law against it, but it's a gray area.
You don't do it. Doing it in your own time versus doing it when other people are around.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly is like this awkwardness and awareness of self that happens when you're in a group. So there's no rule that says you can't pick your nose, but you feel it, don't you?
Yeah, I'm quite an introvert, or at least I was when I was younger. And there's always that sense that you're going to say something wrong. I don't know. I feel like you can't. Like if you're going to say a thought, you're going to really bake that thought and then pour it.
And you better have
the
timing right, and then you better not just like if you're too late, you can't. And then everyone turns and goes, "Huh?" And now it's quiet, and you're like, "The trees from before." And now all this pressure's on you, and everyone's just waiting, and you're like, "I messed it up. Let's keep going."
I'm just gonna run off and
hide. What? And you're like, "Life. Keep going, life."
I'm just gonna dive into the leaves here and hide in this bumble of bushes.
Mm-hmm. But as we get higher and higher on that pecking order, it's less and less a rule and more a pressure you feel from within. Yeah, I guess.
I think it comes from puberty too, because you like before puberty, you don't really realize you're just like running around doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I can see that. You start to want to attract people.
Yeah, and
namely the opposite sex.
Yeah, the perspective of the opposite sex matters a lot, because then you're like, whoa, what do I do? How do I make them like me? And that I still don't know that, but it's the root of it, right?
I guess so. That and just power in general, because the only way you're going to get power is from someone higher up. Like they have to somehow give it to you, so you have to be on their good graces, so you start to act like them.
You try to be charismatic.
Yeah. Or even just agree with them, even though you might not really. Like if they're like, it's so bourgeois to wear brown anymore. And you're like, huh, yeah, wear brown anymore. There's no rule saying you can't wear brown, but you would totally not try and wear brown around, your CEO or boss if you're at work.
Every day.
Yeah.
Completely covered, wearing completely all brown. Oh, yeah, brown, it's in, right?
Yeah. I think you would fail that test miserably.
You think I'd comply?
I think you would. And you would justify it by saying, it's just brown.
It's just,
just brown.
Don't look at me.
It's so beautiful in brown.
There's like weird habits. I like, for myself, like people have noticed that like when I cut steak, it's very strange to bring this up, but when I cut steak, I cut it in a way that is like optimal for my bite, as well as like make it like tender, because you're supposed to like cross cut it, right? Because the sinewy sinew is like easier if you cut it crossways. So like
you cutting steak the highest level math that you could imagine. It's like
I'm beautiful minding it out there. Got like triangles and like rhombuses.
The most cross section combined with the largest piece, combined with the perfect bite-sized piece, combined with where it's getting cut out of the steak, combined with what leftover fat you will have left, combined with what other cross pieces you can have left, combined with like what looks like it'll be a juicy piece near the middle, combined with like you keep going
100%. So I've done this before, and like usually people don't pay attention to me at all. But one time I was eating with like a group of friends that were like second tier friends or third tier friends, like people I didn't know too well, but they're interesting. And like the one guy across the table from me is just staring at me cut my steak, and he goes, I've never seen anybody cut their steak like that before. And I was like, yeah, I put a lot of thought into it. But like the weirdness there is like, it's weird on my part, but it's also weird that he brought it up. And then
brought it up to you, like he challenged you almost, not challenged.
I think he was enamored. He was enjoying how I was cutting the steak. So there's a weirdness there that is communal, which is enjoyable, really. Look back on it,
you both enjoy it.
Yeah, if you're weird in the same way, not that he cut his steak that way, but
right,
you kind of revel in it.
And he admired it for what it was.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. The first weird thing I remember doing was kind of gross now that you mention it, but I was in first grade and we had pretzels for recess. And a pretzel dropped on the floor and someone said, "You're not going to eat that, right?" And I ate it. And then someone was like, "Here, you won't eat it if I do it." And I was like, "Can I have your pretzel?" And they dropped it on the floor and I ate it. And I was like, "Still tastes good to me." So then I didn't have a pretzel the next day, and I was like, "I'll eat your pretzel if you put it on your shoe." It was like, "You would eat a pretzel if it touched my shoe?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And I did it. And people were like, "Ew." And I was like, "It's just dirt. I'll live." But I was known to eat dirty food.
Oh, you became that kid?
I guess. I mean, I didn't do it anymore, I don't think. I can't remember past first grade or the entire year. I just remember at some point, a lot of people thought I was really weird for doing that.
That's a weird legacy. I have one where my aunt thinks that I like cat food or something, and I was like, I don't think I've ever eaten cat food, but I imagine my aunt like served it to me.
As a joke?
I don't know.
That's weird. Yeah. That's weird.
But every time, like up until I was like mid-20s, and the last time I saw her, she was like, should I get you a bowl of cat food? And I'm just like, I'm not sure how to respond to that. Yeah.
Is this a memory? Are you remembering it? Am I remembering it?
It's so weird that you don't ask for facts. You just push it away. Just slowly like, no, I'm not gonna, I don't know.
No, we're not going to address it.
Let's awkwardly dance around this for 20 years.
This is social norm. It's so weird.
It's a good episode so far. I'm feeling better every day.
I just the other day was behind a guy on the Blue Route, and he was in not the Blue Route, Northeast Extension, and he was in the left lane, and he was driving the speed limit in the highway, and I couldn't get around him, and he was bothering me. And I remember his red car, and it was like a minivan, and it was a guy, and he was like oblivious, and I was tailing him, and he bothered me so much. And I just remember he had this stupid bumper sticker, he had a stupid cargo thing, so he must have been going down the shore, like all his equipment on top of his vehicle. And finally I just got around him, and I was like, that guy's a jack off. And I got off at the exit, which is only like 5 minutes down the road. And me and my girlfriend Ange, we went into what's the food place at Plymouth Meeting? I forget what it's called. Anyway, we went in there. We had a beer and appetizers because we were like an hour early for this party.
A grocery store, restaurant?
No. It was like a restaurant, nice one. How's it called? It's in Plymouth Meeting. Anyway, everyone watching is like, oh, so and so.
Oh, stop! Get to the point.
Well, so 15, 20, 25 minutes later, got back on the road.
That guy.
He was there. He was in front of me getting back onto the blue route. So, and this just happened 2 weeks ago, so it really stuck in my head. And I remember going, that's impossible. He's back. We were in there for 25 minutes. And we were only 4 minutes away. So he was not driving. Something happened where he got off somewhere, maybe at the mall, Plymouth Meeting Mall, and then happened to get back on at the exact same time I was.
Coincidence.
That was so weird. And I know that sounds like a small thing to someone, but there's hundreds of thousands of cars you pass every minute there. And for me to find this jack off, and I knew it was him because I was staring at that bumper sticker again, and he was going slow again, and I knew exactly who he was. I was like, I kept looking in my rearview mirror, expecting him to recognize me and like have a moment with him where I couldn't be his enemy, or I was just like his friend, but he didn't get it. So, but I'm thinking about it right now, 2 weeks later. That's so odd.
You have those moments where you have like a car buddy, where you're driving at the same pace for a long period of time. You expect them to notice.
Yes. Do you think they notice every time that you do, or vice versa?
I think I'm very perceptive, so I doubt it.
Oh, you think you're very perceptive and they aren't. So you're saying your heightened awareness might mean they kind of might not even notice.
Yeah.
I think they do if you guys keep swapping, though, and like passing other people, like and dealing with double tractor trailers. And eventually one of you just breaks through and the other one does. And it's like that. And you're with them for like 2 hours.
I hope so.
Hour and a half.
I hope so.
They would have to. I think that's cool stuff. A little odd, a little strange. Do you want to hear the
serendipity?
What's this? Sure, serendipity is. That's in the opposite end of what I was going to tell you.
It's tied into like a weird fate and destiny, and like I guess there's like the strangeness is tied into like a self-preservation, because you see something that doesn't add up and you want to react to it. Your body's like fight or flight, but it has no reason to really question because it's never really seen the event or stimulus.
There's no actual danger. It's just so unusual that you feel like it should be dangerous. Is that a thing? Could your body be feeling that?
Because it's
like,
so
this is so weird that it's impossible. My body is going haywire. Is that the thing?
I think so. I think you're preparing to do something because you don't know how to react to it. I think your body's trying to process how to react to it, even though it's probably nothing. Like most of life is probably things we've seen before, or if they're new, they're not going to hurt you.
What's people, weird is things. It's almost like being in a movie and being at the turning point of the movie, though. There's something so phenomenal, so weird, so outstanding here that you actually have a chance to make a big impact, more than you would any other 1 second period of time or 1 day at a time. Like this is it. This is the moment where you've been thrust into a position of such coincidence, such power, such strangeness that you can affect the rest of time in your timeline. Sorry, that sounded like I was pretty biblical there.
I feel that whenever I would meet like a new exotic woman, like there's a weirdness that happens to me because I'm socially awkward in those situations where I try to do too much. It's the same thing where your perspective is now your perspective plus theirs, and you're trying to manipulate the situation so that it works out in your favor. But it's so hard to be both.
But once you overthink it, you've already
ruined.
You've already damned it. You've damned everything. And now you will second guess everything you do, and when you second guess everything you do, you act differently.
Yeah, so you can't show them your true self.
Nope. So you're kind of damned.
Yeah.
A little bit.
All those moments. Damned them.
Damned them. Hell yeah. I love it. So do you want to hear the strangest thing I ever said? And I may have actually mentioned it on the podcast. It was in Chicago. So I was in Chicago on vacation or to see the Phillies play the Cubs or Wrigley Field. And it was 101 one day, 98 one day, 103 one day, and 97 one day. It was the hottest 4 days in Chicago. I got on a bus to go to the lake, to go to somewhere. And there was a man outside that caught everyone's attention because he was wearing a full three-piece suit. He looked like he was about 74. He had a bowler hat on, like the big black hat.
Mm-hmm.
Suit was all black. He had an umbrella that was all black. And he looked a little bit like the Crypt Keeper, just in his facial structure. He was old. The wrinkles started sunken. He did not look healthy. And tufts of white hair coming out from here and here and here. And it was 101 degrees. And he walked gangly. He was a little too tall. He didn't look like a real person. Something about him was off. And I'm on the bus elbowing Mike Doherty, going, I don't give a shit. What's he gonna do? I'm elbowing, going, dude, are you seeing this? Are you seeing this? And finally he looked, he couldn't stop laughing. And then the bus took off and we went around a corner and we come into an area where you can see right where we were prior. And the man is sprinting, holding his cap and umbrella. And I didn't know where he was going. He wasn't chasing a bus. I don't know, dude. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. And people will think I'm making up or exaggerating parts of it. This was movie grade weird. It was 101 degrees. I don't know what was going on. I still think about that guy and if he's looking for me. But that's maybe one of the strangest things I've seen in my life. I can't explain it to this day. The feeling he gave me, you don't see that every day. It was like from a movie. It was so weird. Have you ever seen anything so weird like that at a place? Or like come upon a car crash or seen an old woman by the side of the road and you wanted to stop and you were like, no. Nope. Or like a haunted house or like anything that, have you ever seen something that may have been a ghost or anything? Like, if you're in a house alone, has a door ever just closed and you're like, that wasn't the wind. I'm not going to acknowledge it. I'm going to leave right now.
Yeah, the supernatural. I think if you're listening for it, it starts to happen. I think your brain kind of plays with you.
100%. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. But have you ever not been in that time frame? Like I was in Chicago in the middle of the day and I saw this. So I wasn't looking for something weird. That was breaking into the normal.
So I think this is like plays off like a perfect movie script. Like the way movies play off like bizarre and weird stuff is like they add a layer of ambiance that makes it really creepy. But the creepiness is really in the everyday stuff. It's like the realistic nature of weird is that it could be the person sitting next to you that is acting weird and it makes you socially awkward or put you in a social position where you have to react and you have to become the weird one to get out of the situation. That's like the true kind of weird. And that's the bowler hat guy. Because if he was on the bus with you, something odd, because everyone feels that like notion of being on a bus with someone they don't want to be on the bus with. You want to get off the bus, but you have to go to your destination. What do you do?
Well, we were on vacation. I could have gotten off. It would have been worth it.
That's true.
It would have been worth it. Now, if you were on your way to a job interview and you couldn't because you needed this job, you got to ride with your man. And then it turns out he's going for the same job interview you are. And he tips his bowler hat to you and just looks sunken and he won't talk. And you're like, good morning. And he's like, you're like, oh my God, I'm dead.
The only thing that really popped in my head when you were talking was when I was younger, I was it was at nighttime in my neighborhood and I was with a friend and we were like walking through some like a little forest area and we swear we saw a monkey with a white face just come out and like screech at us. So
you both thought you saw this?
We both thought we saw this. So we went back to my house. I had a BB gun at the time and we grabbed the BB gun to go hunt it because we're like, I don't know, we're 12. And
that's pretty bold. I would have just not. I would have been afraid.
Yeah, well, adventurous, you're fearless. But by the time we got to the end of my driveway, my mom opened the door and then said something to me. So I ditched the BB gun in a bush, and then I think that's where the adventure stopped. But it was like in my mind the monkey's face. It's like that, but it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense at all.
Right? Maybe a deer or something? Is that possible?
I don't know.
I mean, deers have weird faces. Like they can, especially depending on the angle and the whiteness of some of their fur or whatever.
It probably wasn't even a monkey. It was just something that was like very like a flash of something. It was no, I don't even know if that was an animal. It was probably merged with my imagination at the time and watching the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman.
That's what's going on. All due respect, sir. F you. I think that's in that movie.
But like, I don't know if there's any like long duration weirdness. Like, how often do you stay within like a really weird scenario, and you don't try to like
makes it weird because it doesn't last. I mean, if it were the normal, it wouldn't.
You would adjust to it.
Normal. Yeah, and it wouldn't be abnormal by definition, right?
Like, what about people that like look different than you, dress different than you, act differently?
Like if the bowler hat guy was regular, and I was totally misconstruing him, and he lives his life, and he was sprinting to interview.
He lost a paper. It's blowing in the wind. He's trying to get to it.
It's the deed to his house.
Has your name written on it for some reason.
That's my name. Oh man. Anyway, like if he dressed like that every day and he has a wife, he doesn't have a wife. If he
had a wife,
I can't. She's been dead for 8 years, but he hasn't buried her yet.
He keeps her in his pocket.
Good Lord. Let's someone else like how about weird people in general, like the more casual weird that we were just talking about, like
we had
people have quirks or like dress funny or something.
College second year, across the hallway there's 4 guys across the hallway. 3 of them are just shy and introverted. One of them we called Scallops, as Sketchy Alex. He would just kind of like wander into our party and then like bring up random stuff, and then like he would always
move on to the next group.
Yeah, he'd make it socially awkward. It would just be hard to deal with him, I guess. But you can tell that he was trying to be like aggressively friendly, because I think he didn't like his roommates. Yeah, and he was trying to make more friends, which is after the fact you're like, oh, I feel bad for that guy, because he could have been a cool guy. You just need to get him to calm down first.
Like,
quality.
So here, now, well, what I was going to say is, like, where is weird good, and is there weird that's bad? Like, let's say you meet a guy and he's weird at work, and you give him a shot, and you're like, he's not that bad, dude. I talked to him. He's pretty cool. And then he goes, I've got an idea for a website. They show pictures of feet, and you can decide how they smell. Women's feet. And it's like, oh, that's an idea.
Yeah.
No. He's like, no, you don't really smell them. You just picture it. And you're like, oh, you what? And he's like, we write in the description field how it smells. And you're like, well, that's cool, man. He's like, you want to see? No, I'm good. Like, I mean, isn't that like, and this is my perspective. I'm like, that's below me, or that's like bad, or that's not what I would like. So I'm against it, sort of. So, I mean, I'm not against it, but maybe I'm like, it's not harmless. Maybe it is. Maybe it will lead to not being harmless. And so am I judging weirdness? Whereas when I'm weird, I'm like, you people have no idea. I'm just being me.
First impressions. How often are first impressions accurate?
Do you want me to tell you the truth? 50% of the time.
Well, I guess
that's the biggest cop out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. The one time I was wrong about first impressions was meeting a good friend of mine, where I just didn't know him, and it was weird. Like he was large and he would rap, and I was like, I don't know how this fit. Like I didn't have any friends that were like, had like bad hygiene and like didn't care about themselves, and then like, but he was funny and he was really good with spoken word. So it was like, I judged him initially, and then I decided that like later on that was a terrible thing to do. But I think first impressions in general, because he's the only one, are accurate. Like you will find the weirdness in that person. Like you can sense it without that person talking. It was just being around that person. You're like, there's something not right with them, or they don't mesh with me.
So what we're talking about is that triangle from the beginning of the episode. We all know we all adhere to the laws of science. Not many of us are breaking those laws. Most of the time we're obeying the other laws, the laws of the state.
Peculiar.
Etiquette, we kind of, you can see and not see. That top one kind of defines that. And what you're talking about is you can see what rules they do or do not break in that code. Like, from the way they dress, the way they groom themselves, the way they'll talk in a group setting. I think it's really telling.
The way they hold themselves, how they speak, how they look at you, if they look at you.
How often they do, when they talk in the group, who they talk to in the group, whether they include everyone in the group, whether they exclude certain people in the group, whether they try and initiate new people right away, whether they try and take to old inside jokes with their friends and try not to include you. Like, these things are little tellers.
So what are your tics? Do you have any tics?
Like that I have?
Rub my beard a little bit when I have one, or like I nod a little too much.
I think I say it's weird that, and literally that exact phrase, if I'm here listening to a podcast and I'm trying to segue like very carefully, I go, it's weird how, and then I mention a research point I brought up that sort of loosely ties to whatever we're talking about.
Did you ever, this is going to be
I say like a lot.
But did you ever?
I say the dude terms a lot. Like I say dude and bro a lot, I think. I sound like a broy dude, but I'm not. I don't think. I could be wrong.
Did you ever have two friends that were, or not? So one time I had random phone calls from my dad who used the term that I've never heard before. I think proof is in the pudding, which is obvious. Proof is
in the pudding?
But I never heard it before.
You never heard that?
I was like 19. Weird. No, wait. I must have been 22 at the time or something. And then I literally took a phone call from my other friend, completely different conversation, but he finished it with the proof is in the pudding.
Who was this other friend? Someone I know? That's just curious.
Dan. If you might, I don't know if you know him.
It's weird. I do, but I don't. Right this second, it's drawing me, and I know the name, so I know him.
But the same phrase from two completely different people, two different conversations,
happened within half an hour.
What's the meaning here?
Like,
there's
the
purpose with that.
Was playing something here. Yes. Like you had to find meaning in it because that's too weird of a coincidence. Like 100%. I did with the guy driving in front of me on 76, when really, I mean, stuff happens. It's possible.
Sorry, where did that segue begin? Tics.
Yeah, tics. I think I mess with my hair when I drink.
I do that whenever I'm like really thinking.
Oh no, I just do it when I want it to look differently, but I don't know how I want it to look, so I just mess with it. So all the ladies at home are like, "Wow, swoon."
A swoon.
The other thing is, you know what one of my habits is? I pick my lip. Does anyone else do that?
You bite it?
No, I pick it. I use my fingernail.
That's weird.
Everyone does something. I will literally rip off pieces of it. I don't care.
Can you wiggle your ear? Can you do that?
No, I just tried right now. I'm moving my throat.
Can you move my scalp?
Well, you have more scalp than I do. That's a lot of movement.
Yeah.
I think I brought this up before. I can move these joints.
How? Yeah.
And look,
that is weird.
This weird indent in here that you can feel. It's like weird. I don't know. Double jointed. I we know a kid. Yeah, we all know people who have weird stuff. I know someone who could do the predator noise perfectly, though. Rob B. Do you remember from high school? Yeah, he can do that noise perfectly. Like he does it perfect. I used to be able to do a really great Chewbacca. I don't do it as great anymore. I'll probably do it on the podcast in the next 5 seconds.
This is good.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yours is really good. I'll give mine the edge, but that's because I like me better. It's not subjective.
I think I like mine better.
Of course you do. I don't blame you. So
let it up. Put it in the comments. Whoever did it better. He's like a drunk slurring Chewbacca. She left me.
Range of emotion. Like, you know what I mean? Chewie has emotions. He can be angry. He can be sad. You can do a sad Chewbacca if you're like, I don't know.
I can't do it now.
See, you were about
cracking up. Yeah. I want to.
Yeah. I want to be a sad Chewbacca. That isn't bad, but kind of more like a pigeon.
Self-loathing Chewbacca.
So here's a weird thing. Damn it! Caught myself doing my tick. So here's a weird thing, folks. Is there a fine line between talent and weirdness?
I heard this with
Like, are they talents?
with
No, I don't
entrepreneurs.
know. Go ahead.
Entrepreneurs are weird. Like the people that
They
pursue
all
these
are.
crazy things and make them into businesses and make them successful. It's like those people
It
have
is
to be
weird.
weird. They have to be outliers.
Yeah. Here, let's go to the end. So I draw what's oftenly
Bell
referred
curve.
to as a bell curve. I was going with bell graph, I guess, bell curve. And there's all different values for the middles and the edges. One of my favorite ones, though, is 68% are average, 16% are below average, 16% above average. Now, you can break it down into here, 1% on the extreme low end, 1% on the extreme high end. You can break it down in a million different ways. It's been done a million different times.
Mm-hmm.
What I like to think of, though, is your uniqueness, your strangeness, your abnormality, your oddness. It kind of puts you outside the 68%, right? You're not normal for whatever it is you do. Your Chewbacca sounds, the way you pick your lip. I don't know. That's kind of weird. The way maybe you.
Does everyone have that? I would assume everyone has. Well, my younger self would assume everyone has that, and they keep it to themselves or their friends and family.
Right. In whatever walk of life. I mean, I'm weird in probably a dozen ways, but I'm probably actually average and normal when it comes to hard work. Like, I just work hard and I don't make a big deal of it or something. I don't know. Or when I get my leg cut, I don't think I make a big deal of it one way or the other.
You do, though.
That was literally a life-ending injury that I sustained and did fine with. I was literally picking a random thing. But in being an outlier or doing something outside the norm, I think you have like a 50-50 shot where you're kind of a loser. I mean, it's not going to get you anything. I mean, am I really going to do anything and change the world? Look, am I going to change the world with this?
One end of the graph is loser. The other end of the graph is successful
entrepreneur. Yeah. and I don't think it has to do with your innate ability. I think it has to do with, what's going on around you, timing, circumstance, coincidence, stuff like that.
Your acceptance of the weird and understanding social norms.
Yeah.
What do you do with it?
Like, I don't know. And then when and where are you? And I mean, for every Jeff Bezos and all these other weirdos that have all this, there's probably just as many weirdos who are unsuccessful. Like, do you know what I mean? They're just as weird as them, and in that realm, like, I need to work and do this. I need to work and do this. I think they become schizophrenics, half of them.
So what about like normies? Like we didn't talk about like what's normal. Like, are there people out there that don't have any qualities that make them weird? They're just cut and dry. That's who they are. You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Think they tuck it deep down inside and then it eats away at them?
No, I think they live it out online in a forum somewhere, or a furry forum, or or they're.
It's funny because I was thinking about the boat. Like, they really love ferries. Like.
Oh, furry! No, I was not. Can you imagine? I'm here for the ferry convention. It's a guy dressing like a steam
stack.
Yeah. And he's like, choo choo. A bunch of stuffed animals with their pee-pees showing and stuff. Yeah, like, we're gonna run the train on My Little Pony in the back. If you want to come in there, and he's like, no, I just was. I love
ride my steamboat. Yeah,
I love the ferry. I just want to cross the river in safety. Oh, that would be so good. That's a good skit we just made right there.
That's a good bit right there. Yeah.
I'm here for the ferry convention. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. I can't believe we did that by accident on purpose. Good job.
Ooh, baby, cry.
The ferryman's coming for you. The ferryman of the dead. Yeah, oh no. It's Sonic the Hedgehog with his dick flopping around. Oh, Jesus. He's collecting your gold coins. Yep.
So, did you have any artsy types in your college? Like the weird type of art? Like, I went to a museum one time, and it was like they had this block of cheese, and someone took hair follicles and put it in the cheese, and it's just like there's a guttural feeling from doing that just doesn't feel right. It's like, A, it's food, B, it's human stuff, and it's like you can already like imagine it like trying to like eat like cheese and having hair. But it was
sounds like this art was successful.
I think it created a response. So in college, there was one party I went to that was like weird music, and they had like a tripod in the corner that would take a picture, so the flash would happen every minute or so. It was like a time lapse of the party, and they had a guy in the kitchen. The kitchen was like right next to the room that had all the pictures being taken, and he was making crepes. So it was like a very strange scene, but after a while... Imagine this when
we talk about strange stuff. That's already the weirdest thing.
Yeah. After a while, you got used to the flashing, the guy giving you a crepe, and you're just like, everything's fine. It was not something that I would do myself, but enjoyable? Yeah, it was a positive experience. Nothing bad happened.
Interesting. I could see having a good time at this party.
Yeah. I wonder what was in the basement. I should have went in the basement. You never know.
You should not have been in the basement.
Save yourself.
The party would have been over real quick.
for the fairy party?
Is this the fairy party? So good. Steam power?
Yeah. What about artsy? Weird? Do you know any artsy photographers or?
I did, but not to the extent where they did anything that was outlandish. Just more like
Big Lebowski. Like when he meets what's her face, and she's like swinging and painting naked.
Oh yeah. No one that artistic. In fact, I only know of one person via Twitter that makes their money doing art.
Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about.
So I don't know how, like, I can't imagine someone who is weird for a living. Is that a thing? Is that what you're referring to almost?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, if they're...
I have to keep pushing the norms and talking about what's not normal and what is normal. And
Banksy or...
Yeah, that is kind of what they do. I mean, it's
logical.
It's overdone.
It's not like it makes jumps. There's some art pieces that you go to a museum and you're just like modern art. A lot of that's just like Rothkos, where it's just colors, squares.
Uh-huh.
You're just like, How is this valued? It doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's in the culture. If you were there, it's making a joke at a joke that's a reference to something that's a joke that was done before as a reference that's now a joke, and you're referencing it. But the thing is, it's a joke. And it's like...
You didn't know the premise.
Well, I'm saying because you're not in art, you don't know that is the joke about the art, about the joke, about the art joke.
Yes.
So really, it's very multi-layered, but you don't care. You were walking in to see art, and you're like, it's worth what? It's squares. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very nuanced, probably.
I would imagine. That I will never know.
Nor care to.
Yes.
Probably. I think at some point in my life, I could become an artsy type. I could do it. I won't.
If I was being paid to do it, I would become that.
Even if I wasn't paid to, I think I'd have just all this free time and like indisposable wealth. I would probably get into weird stuff.
What about ghosts?
Because I wouldn't have to worry about that's a different kind of weird.
So the only time that someone ever said they actually genuinely thought they were in the presence of a ghost was my mom after her dad died.
Mom.
They always it manifests in their brain that like a light flickered when they said their name or something. It's in that realm of like okay, like
my girlfriend does this where it's like, I had a dream that she was there, and when I woke up I saw something that looked like a light, and the voice said everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, wow, the ghost wasted a lot of time. And I'm like I don't know.
Does she have nothing better to do than to bother us?
Exactly. I honestly, and why did she pick that 1 second? Can't she do it like every 10 seconds? Do you only get one shot? Do not give this up. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. The ghost is doing like an M&M. And they're like, we only got one shot. You better make sure she's awake. And it's like the ghost appears right in your room, but you're still sleeping. And they're like, ahem. And it's like you're really heavy sleeping because you were drinking. And the ghost is like, ahem. Oh no, I only had one shot. I got to warn them. And it's like, ahem. But you just snooze through the whole thing. And then grandma's ghost just got wasted. She didn't get to warn you.
Turns into a cloud and blows away.
Yep. Can you imagine that? Like,
You
that
open the
seems
window
like
and she blows out. You're just like, well.
yeah. And then you wake up like 2 minutes later and you're like, oh, I think we go to that party and drink tonight. It's like, no, Grandma was warning you. It just seems arbitrary that a ghost would appear, you would get its message, everything would be perfect, it can't be captured on film, it was just for you, everything is going to be okay, and it will never appear again.
A higher power, or destiny, or religion.
And that's kind of how I feel about the whole thing.
But there are people that believe in things that are completely controllable being controlled by outside forces, which is weird to me. Like, why would you believe that there's this thing that just controls everything? And he chooses
maybe it's easier
to make. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you give up your choice, then you don't have to worry about the choice you might be making.
Oh, this is a weird thing I do. And that's a sentence that had nothing to do with my tick, which I usually say, this is weird. But no, this is a weird thing I do. They just visited me Sunday. I have Jehovah friends. They visit me like once every 3 weeks, and like pamphlets. I can't say no to them. Oh, they give me pamphlets. Here's another weird thing about me. The guy who helped raise me, I'll say, his name's Greg. He's African American. He was in his 30s, and he worked at this company. And I would work with my dad for like weeks on end, and I would just follow Greg. And Greg hated white people, but he loved me. And he would tell me all these weird things. And Jehovah, the witness things they give you, it's bad luck to throw it away. And I was like, so what do you do? He's like, oh, they're garbage. And I'm like, well, what do you do? He's like, you just leave them somewhere. Someone else will throw it away. It's bad luck on them. And I was like,
not throwing it away.
No, it's not, because they threw it away. If you don't put it in the trash and someone else does, you're good.
Maybe it's the same pamphlet that's just being passed around. No one's actually a Jehovah's Witness. They just get stuck with a booklet. They like knock on the door, like, I can't throw this. Oh, here you go.
I just got some Sunday, and I did not throw them away. Anyway, the people stop by. I have a good time with them. Like, I love that. Like, they talk with me for like 10 minutes, and usually it's just about the weather and stuff. And at the end, I can hear it. And they're like, well, Nick, do you know the creator? And I'm like, and I want to like challenge his faith and be like, you know, you're going to be dead in like 8 years, dude. The sky is filled with nothing. The earth is filled with nothing. We will all turn into atomic dust, and then eventually time will grind everything to an uneasy halt. And you see what he does? But instead, I'm like, you're right, Dave. Good call. I'll let you know. Thanks. But it's weird. Like, I'm friendly to him, and no one else answers the door. I just want to talk to these guys because I feel like they also get credit for visiting people. So I feel like they go in their book and go, Nick, got him. He's on our side now.
Yeah. So I've gotten one of those books before. I think I was working at the time, and someone left it as a tip.
I know the book very well.
And
that's awesome.
But you open it up, and like the picture, the only picture you see on the inside is like someone that's like screaming and melting, and like they're in hell. Like, it's like
they've come a long way, Dan. Trust me.
Oh, good. Thank goodness.
They've re-upped the brand because I know
into being religious.
That's kind of how they roll, though.
I give you a leather-bound book, nice crisp pages.
I do want to say something that Greg taught me.
Yes.
He had Rottweilers. Okay. He knew a Rottweiler that they chained up underneath steps outside. Like, they just made it live outside. You can do this with a dog. You're not supposed to. It's frowned upon, but this is like 30 years ago.
Yeah, sure.
So they chained it up underneath the steps, and it lived underneath the steps, and it was a nasty, mean dog. The strongest, barkingest dog there ever was. And I was like, wow. And he's like, it lived under the steps so long that its head grew into the shape of steps. And they said the dog had stepolitis. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like 12 when he was teaching me all this. And I was like, is that for real? And he's like, look it up, man. Look it up. To this day, I couldn't at the time because the internet was pretty new. And to this day, I still think about dogs with stepolitis.
He warped your mind.
It was awesome. It was the best joke anyone ever played on me. I still think of stepolitis. I miss him. Do you think you have to be unique to adapt? Do you think you have to have uniqueness and strangeness for evolution?
So this is like the survival in apocalypse. Like, do you outthink other people? Do you do something that's different? I don't like to follow the herd. I feel like a lot of the times people don't see what's coming, and if you're different than the herd, then you see it or you can react to it. This is like a gunshot in a mall. If people are running away from the gunshot, you probably run away from the gunshot, right?
I was like, where's it? I was like, where's it going?
Towards it. Don't run towards it.
Dan's like, I'm an outlier. Let's try this move.
Yeah, but
he's like, what do you?
But there's also like the obvious choice. Like I don't make the obvious choice. Like if people are leaving in one door, I'm probably gonna duck into another store and then get out a different door.
You don't want to be with the masses.
Yeah, because you don't know if that. Because that, like, if this sounds terrible, but if the shooter is logical and he has partners, then their partners are going to shoot. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, that's the biggest target, right?
Yeah.
So that tells me how you think about society in general. I mean, you don't want to go with everything society does. What about their clothing styles, their, I don't know, their job decisions, the way they live their lives, some of the words they use? Like, is it all?
Yeah, the amount of debt they carry
versus non-conformity. Oh, I'm a non-conformist there. I went the other way.
You think you're an outlier, or you have more debt than other people?
Oh yeah, 3 times as much debt as anyone you can name.
How do you, maybe anyone I can name, but
see. Anyway, yeah, I went in the other direction. Most people are like, I have a small amount of debt, and I was like, let me show you a little something now.
I'm curious what the actual stat is for
amount of debt. Doesn't it vary by age? You can't.
So the average American now has about $38,000 in personal debt, excluding their mortgage.
I'm right in the area.
Yeah, so you're average, Nick. You're right in the wheelhouse.
I'm gonna borrow some money tonight.
Yeah. Push that number up.
Yeah, I will. Actually, I just got a ER bill for $1,600 for a different ER bill.
Oh my goodness! They keep billing you. That's crazy.
No, this is a different visit. This is the one my parents said they'd pay for, and I was like, let me see what the number is. Can't be more than $800. And it was like $1,290 for an ER visit, $400 for labs, and $200 to see a doctor. And I was like, well, what's the ER? Never mind. I was like, just whatever. I'm gonna sign a thingy that says, I think a hospital can do a charity or something. I don't know.
Oh, freedom.
That's through charities. Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested. Anyway.
So a good example of this in a children's book, Lemony Snicket, series of unfortunate events. There's always a unique quirk. What do they call it? Oh, what's that word? When someone has like a unique quirk about them.
And then it becomes like their
idiosyncrasy. Yeah. So
like a red nose that glows?
Yes. So all the characters are idiosyncratic. So they have this little quirk about them that makes it so that it's like an essential part of their character that makes them different than other people, and somehow it plays in the plot.
Early on.
Yeah, every place they go it plays in the plot and the way they solve the problem or get out of the situation.
Well, no, it usually starts as a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Like they're ostracized from games. They're told they're ugly. They're told they're stupid. They do this, and then it turns out, in the long run, it actually helps them do better than other people. And it's like, whoa, you're a hero. Right? Rudolph's red nose.
Yeah, in that case. A really deep disdain of realtors.
Rudolph?
No, that was Lemony Snicket.
I was like, oh, okay. A deep disdain of realtors. Is that what?
Yeah. An unseated fear.
Interesting.
What about like media in books and novels and maybe some cartoon shorts?
I don't know where you're going.
Stuart, Marjorie.
Oh my god, that's one of the strangest, weirdest things I've seen. Salad fingers.
Yeah, there's weird noises. The plot makes no sense. It makes you fearful.
The music is droning. There's
Who makes it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Off kilter about it?
David Firth, I think. But it's made to the point where it's produced.
Avant-garde.
So this is because there's clearly enough work done and art design and things to do that make it look better than it is.
Yes.
But they purposely make it look a little worse.
Salad fingers.
We did say that, I thought, but
I don't know.
Anyway, and they purposely make it a little worse than they can afford to. And they purposely make it a little disjointed than they have to, and they purposely make gaps in information, and then they purposely add weird sound effects and cuts, and then they purposely do
feels
a dialogue that's like, and you're like, oh, this rusty spoon upon my fingers, and it's like not enough by itself if you heard that sentence to make you feel weird, but in the context that it's in, and the visuals, and the fact they spend this much time when he's rubbing a spoon, you start to feel weird that you're watching it, and then you feel weird that they made it, and then you feel weird that it's still going on and there's music, and then you're like, what am I supposed to be feeling? It's a cool thing. I think it's actually pretty awesome. Awesome in the sense that I'm glad that I experienced it. Oh yeah. No, my buddy refused to watch it, and one of the first few times we got him really high, we made him watch it. He was like crying and screaming and like going insane because he couldn't. A, he was not used to being high. B, he was not used to salad fingers, and the combination almost drove him mad.
What about perceptions of what you should do? Your expectations, like that's a good example of like someone getting high for the first time or getting drunk. Did you do anything crazy when you got drunk or high the first time? When I was drunk, I had I think it was an 8th grade party, and it was a graduation party. And I ended up getting on top of the hot girl in class, and then it was during Sweet Home Alabama, and then I think I made her laugh or something, and then I got off of her.
Oh, we're all going to jail.
Yeah, but
we're all going to jail.
I 100% probably made her feel awkward, but I think we were all a little, like, as 8th graders, it sounds terrible, we were drunk as 8th graders, but yeah, I feel like I was not maybe expected to do that, maybe like you're supposed to act out, or maybe the alcohol actually does that, but there's a little interplay there where
it's both.
You do a little bit more than you're supposed to because you're supposed to be drunk.
Yeah, that's the thing. We were at a bar mitzvah placebo. And everyone was going wild. Like, the uncles gave alcohol to someone, and he just spread the wealth. And I couldn't even tell you if we were really drunk. I think we were just acting drunk because we had some alcohol in our system, and we could.
It one beer, like, half a beer.
Crazy. Yeah, I remember my first beer. What was that? Is that from Step Brothers or something?
I don't know the joke.
He's just saying something ridiculous at the dinner table, and he goes, "I remember my first beer."
You're enjoying it. I don't get it, but it's okay.
Well, you're weird.
Understood. Dead air.
No,
you're trying to be weird.
I was trying to be awkward, which is different than weird. They all have their own place, and they're all very self-involved. They happen inside our brains a lot.
Yeah. It's the inner struggle to be normal, I guess, when other people are watching.
Like, want to be normal, but only normal to a degree. Is that a thing? Do you think different people want to be different amounts of normal? Do you think there's anyone who wants to be 100% normal?
I wish they were more normal.
No, not more normal. 100% normal. Like, people are freakish with like 4 days and like can't think normal. I don't know. Would they want to be like, I just wish I was normal?
So I have a relative that is like 100%, like, do everything by the book. Like, if you get married, you do it. You buy this book that tells you everything you're supposed to do, and you do it. Like, if you're going out to dinner, this is what you do. Like, forks, knives, all the stuff on the outside, from like all the etiquette.
How often you do this? Like, there's what you do.
It's a series of compliments, and then gifts, and then like thanking people, and then like bowing, and then like shaking their hands. It's like you're supposed to like do all these things that are they're really, I think, supposed to make it so that they differentiate you from, sounds terrible, but poor people, like upper echelon mentality. You're supposed to prove that you're like worthy of the wealthy or something.
You belong.
Yeah. It's a very strange mentality to try to me, that's weird, but for her, it was probably like a necessity, maybe, at one point in her life.
Possible. Fit in. Belong somewhere.
So that's the most 100% quote unquote normal person I know who's trying to do something that is completely
Okay, you touched on this. I didn't even think of this. Like economical norms. Like
yeah.
it's probably harder if you're chasing wealth and chasing it through being married.
Suck up.
Like you kind of just mentioned. Yeah, I mean, you don't really earn it via your job, so you're married in, so you have to be as normal as you have to check so many boxes on the dependency film. I do this, I clean this, I have this, we enroll our child in this, we do this. Every time we're all together, I make this treat for everyone. I keep this here. We have this household. We have recently gotten this. Like there's a checklist, and you have to almost fulfill those to earn your money, I guess. And you're right. Luckily for me, I'm over $38,000 in debt, and I don't have to worry about those checklists. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. I feel like that's an old way to think, though. Like to rely on other people for your income. Now it's like everyone free for all, and you should come out on top.
But what if you're offered more? I mean, what if someone's offering $200,000 for you to stay at home and do a checklist? Would you be able to do it?
I couldn't do anything else. I just had to make sure I checked off the box every hour.
The checklist will get you very busy. It will keep you doing stupid stuff that you don't agree with, but essentially it's a job.
Whew, that would be a tough choice. I don't think that I could probably do it. I think I could do it maybe at the end of my career for a year or two.
Towards the end, you're like, maybe for 300 days.
It's going to end my progression through my career, so might as well do it at the end.
Why? Do you think it'll change you? Like make you less weird? I
don't know. There's this social norm that if you're not working in your career, then after 2 or 3 years, you're like useless.
Really?
Yeah. Do you ever think about that? Like if, I don't know.
I'll be working till I'm like 80, so I'm fine.
So you're covered.
What if you retire early, like, and you're out of your job for 3 years? What?
And you need to go back to a job? It's different for me because as a software developer, you lose sight of technology every 7 to 8 years. So if you're out of it for half of that cycle, it's going to take you another like 3 or 4 years to catch up. Yeah.
Weird. Weird.
Weird.
Weird, weird, weird. I think being weird is good. Unless you started a website where you want to tell me how girls' feet smell. So, I mean, it's...
How many adjectives could there be?
Oh, I imagine dozens upon dozens.
Summer breeze.
You start with pungent, but then you keep moving down the list. Earthly and toenail-y and I don't know.
So this brings up something that I actually... It's cringe. We didn't mention cringe at all. So like if you're watching porn and you scroll down and there's all these comments, who A has the time to comment, and B who the hell says the stuff they say? You gotta log in.
Oh, porn comments I think are either tongue in cheek or someone way too young. It has to be.
They're trying to prove that they
belong and they enjoy pornography, and this pornography wasn't even good enough for them because I'm a pornographer watcher. I'm 16. And I watch the pornography, and I've seen some pornographies. Let me tell you about this pornography.
Trying to fit in.
Yeah. Overkill, over the top. But that's like a YouTube, people who raise on YouTube and YouTube comments, like that's them moving over to pornography, right?
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to say. Is the people, like the trends of social media, there's that trend of commenting like, who's here in August of 2019?
I enjoy those. No, I enjoy it if it gets more likes than other things. I'm like, damn, that must have been a popular time to watch said video for some reason.
So you're doing this statistical basis.
2018. No, I'm watching them. I'm a lurker on like YouTube comments. I enjoy a good YouTube.
But would you ever comment and say like, "Oh, I'm here. It's me. I'm doing this now."
No. I probably would if I was 13 or 15 or something.
You want to feel camaraderie, right?
Yeah, isn't that why we were on the internet and doing chat rooms and
we're all here together, guys.
Age, sex, location, folks, because I just want to know that we're all on the same team.
Yeah.
Nipples, 14. Oh. I'm 16. This is good to go. Like, I don't know.
I have no idea what that's about, but good on you, Nick.
If you saw that in age, sex, location chat, you wouldn't respond. Nipples, 14, and you were 16?
I mean, you gotta explore your options, see what's going on there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I forget what I'm saying.
No, I have no idea what you're saying, but go for it.
It's weird.
Yeah. Where did we go? I don't know where we go from here.
I think we gotta wrap it up, dude. It's time. The unfamiliar, the unknown. It's weird. You have to be brave to be weird, don't you?
So I guess this is the other side of it, being confident and being self-assured. It's like in every situation there's you, and then you have to make sure that you know who you are. And like what you believe in is steadfast. So like if you're presented with a scenario that doesn't make sense to you, take the time to reason it out or make your decision and live with whatever might happen. Like the weirdness shouldn't force you to be different than who you are unless it's a good thing. Does that make sense?
It does, but who's defining good? I mean, we can get into that, and I know it's kind of a trite thing to talk about, but
let the change happen and accept who you become.
I don't disagree.
I just I don't know.
I was the first person to get up and hug someone on Kairos or whatever.
Oh, that's beautiful, Nick.
Well, I'm just saying, someone was like, I knew it would be you. And I was like, what? But like, I would. Like, I do things, I will be weird in that sense. I'm not afraid to do change. I'm not afraid to be the first person to do something, even if I look stupid or whatever afterwards. Because worst case scenario, you look stupid and then like, I don't know, people make fun of you a couple times. But like, everyone has stupid stuff. It's not like you're the only person who's made fun of. And then if it turns out good, then you did a good thing. Like, good job.
Should have just been like you get up, I hear you, brother, and then just give him a handshake. That would have been weirder than a hug.
Yeah, it probably would have because so I give him the handshake hug, I think. It was even someone I hated. Bateman. What was his first name? I
think Jason.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. I didn't even like him. I was just like, dude, crazy story, dude. Let me give up and give you a hug. And everyone was like it was only counselors at the time. And I was like, yeah, I can do it. Like there's a weirdness in...
Good job, Nick.
Well, it was weird in that...
Changed the course of your future?
No, I mean, I do that stuff all the time. Like, the weirdness I have is not afraid, I guess.
You plunge. You delve in.
Yeah, I do. I just emailed the president of the company the other day. I was like, yo, our holiday is the 90th day. Can I just have the pay for it? And he was like, sure! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Forward this to whoever. And I was like, cool! I mean, I talked with him that day about it.
Because you had a window where you had to be there 90 days to get vacation?
Yep. And it was my 89th day, and we have off because for Labor Day. It's 89th or 90th. And they were like, oh, I'm real sorry. You're just not going to get paid. It's a day off. And I was like, it's one day removed. I was like, well, just give me the damn day.
Did you get vacation before? Hold on. This is your first real vacation day. We get paid to have a day off.
Yeah. How you like that?
Good job, Nick.
And they weren't going to give it to me. Except that I saw Tony and I was like, yo, Tone, I've been here for a while. I really like it. By the way, I think it's like my 90th day. Should I ask someone about that? He's like, it's yours, baby. I think he said baby because he's Italian. And I was like, thanks, man. Can I get this in writing? So nobody forgets? He was like, email me tomorrow morning. And I was like, gotcha. So I did it. You can't be afraid. I don't think that's weird. It's more like asking for a day off, but
no.
But there are people who wouldn't, right?
Who would feel weird about asking.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be forthcoming.
I talked to him in the bathroom while he was peeing, the week before.
Yeah.
He went and peed next to me in the urinal. I was like, yo, Tone, how's it going? And he was like, you like it here? And he was like, peeing.
Pat on
No,
the
we
back.
have to. We don't see anything.
Okay, good.
And he's like, ah, you like it? And I can tell he's getting into it. And he's peeing real hard. And he's talking to me like a regular guy. And I was like, everything's going pretty good.
Weird? Is it weird that you focus on how hard the person is peeing?
I did then because I thought that was weird. I was like, damn, he's older and he's got a
sometimes they got like
flow.
a garden hose, yeah, and it's like, and you're just like,
the worst is when it's two people and they're quiet in the bathroom and I can hear that he's having trouble peeing, or it's like,
yeah, you don't know their medical diagnosis.
Like, no, I have no idea, and I'm not here to talk about it, but I'm also, it's so quiet in here, we should be talking, dude. Let's talk so I don't have to hear you just peeing.
How do you think
I'm a bathroom talker.
the strength of, how do you think the strength of the stream relates to the penis size? Do you think the penis is more flexible? You think it has no relation? Because if it's a really strong muscular penis, it might have like a really small thin stream. Like it might be.
Is it turgid? Is this thing like at full flex while you're at work peeing? Because there's a problem.
Some people can't turn it off. You don't know.
Yeah, I guess not. I have no idea.
It might.
I'm a very relaxed.
It might be like a sprinkler at the end, just like it's so tight, it's waiting to explode out of there.
Yeah, well, you better not kink up that garden hose as long as.
Or it could be length of the penis too. You never know. It could be easier to release because their penis is so short. Just as a really short, chody penis.
It could be. I'm not here to talk about your bathroom problems because you're not peeing. If you were peeing.
I just want your insight, Nick.
I know. Well, if we were peeing next to each other, I'd give it to you.
Oh.
Because we're not. This is weird. I'm going to have to take a step back. We're in the act. We're in the privacy of a bathroom. We're not on a podcast. I might give you a little advice. I might tap you on the butt. Hey, good job today, peeing.
He's up the stream. He's up the stream.
He's up, pal. I just leaned into your ear. Relax. All of a sudden, your eyes get wide and you can pee normal again. You're like, yeah, I'm a bathroom talker.
Yeah, I know.
I know you know. Is that weird? I don't know.
We have like most awkward. We're gonna do this like 2 minute. Do you have like any time where you like were the most awkward ever to like a person?
Once in a while to like an attractive girl or something.
Were you like
I have one girl?
You asked the wrong question.
No, worse. She's fairly attractive, but she smiles too much at my work, and she's the most normal person I know. So she's like, we were watching The Bachelor, and she's trying to like communicate with the other girls, and I was like, oh, ABC, anyone but Cam, and she was like, you watch it? And I was like, not really. I just saw the one part, and it was funny because it's at ABC, anyone but Cam, and she was like, so you don't watch the show? And I was like, no, I just saw the one part, and I kept trying to say it, and she's like, okay. And she just went away, and now every time I see her, it's so awkward. She's like, here's your paperwork. If you need anything, and I'm like, I don't know what to say.
You broke her expectations.
With everyone. It's so weird because I'm so relaxed with everyone, and she's like, here's your stuff. This is yours. If you need anything, and I'm like, just relax. I don't need anything.
I got that treatment when I said I liked like the first or second season of Grey's Anatomy, because I guess that's a generally
woman's show.
It's a woman's show, definitely later on.
Now, yeah. But it started out as a very well written, rounded show. Probably the first 2 or 3 seasons, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were talking about it. I interjected, and it's like they weren't expecting me to know or enjoy it, and then they didn't want me to share in their groupliness. Right.
It was weird that I've had this happen too, and they were like, you almost feel like you invaded on something, and you're like, it's just a show. I just watched it. I was trying to give my insight, but like they didn't want your insight, and so there's a weird line where you have to respect that and be like, okay, I don't need to give it to you, but you feel weird in that like I probably have better insight than you. You're like, I can just give you a couple. If you guys, I know you don't respect me, but I just tell you about your show, and it's like weird because you're kind of touching on that thought process.
You decoded their message.
Yeah, and you're like, I want to interject here, but you can't. By the way, you can't. Don't.
good message.
Drop it. So we just talked about when to be weird and when not to be weird. I think there's a time where you
can always be weird.
No.
It might not end up.
If you move forward and tell someone that you have a website for smelling feet and they don't actually smell anything, you're crossing the line. What if you're like, hey, here's pictures of people's kids fully clothed, and you're like, they're like, what's wrong with that? It's legal, and you're like, I think we're gonna have to stop talking to each other. I mean, think about it. There is a cutoff. It's not like weird has a line. You can't go over the line.
Terabytes of just pictures of other people's kids. You're just like fully clothed, 100%. Everyone in the office is just like,
feel bad at work. I'm just like expecting people to accept them normally. Like, anyway, I just got terabytes of some everyone's kids. Like, excuse me? Never mind. No, it's just terabytes of people's kids fully clothed. And you're like, did you just... Holy shit. There is a line, folks. I don't know that we know it. I don't know that sometimes I'm over it or whatever. But I will never have a website for feet or terabytes of people's kids fully clothed. Or...
Oh, man. Oh, I could just see the investigator just being like, there's got to be one. There's got to be one.
There's got to be one. He's clean. Let him go.
Oh, God.
Oh, goodness.
All right, then. Well,
so sum it up.
We covered it all.
We covered every single thing.
Every single child. We covered them up. Oh, man.
We covered them up.
Oh, man. Whew. Go to your local ferry convention. I'm sure it's a nice, safe place.
It is the ferry convention. Make sure you pronounce it right and say it right and spell it right.
Oh, man. Try to be cool and smooth. Make good conversation with people. Make sure they're aware of what you're saying. And then they respond. If they don't respond to you, they probably think you're weird.
It is a good indicator, actually. Yeah. You just lay off if they think you're weird a little bit. You can't pour it on so thick that you become harassing.
Yeah. And you might be very observant. You could be even persnickety. So just
check this one out. Tend it up. Are weird people more observant or less observant than the average person?
More. They're aware of they have self-awareness, I think.
I think it's actually the other way around. I think it's 50-50 because I think half of them have no idea they're weird because they can't see it. Like, do you know what I mean? Because if they did, maybe they would change it.
Or maybe they're controlled by how they can't deal with normalcy. I don't know.
Maybe. But anyway, weird. I was weird as a kid. You were weird as a kid. Most people at home were weird as a kid. 100%. Back when we were kids, being weird was liking the X-Men. Now, being weird is not liking the X-Men.
Being a nerd or geeky? Yeah. You're being an outlier playing a video game and reading comics and stuff.
Now it's like, if you don't like those things, what are you? Weird.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
If you don't like the Marvel movies, we're like, what? You don't even like them a little? You didn't watch it?
You've never watched any of them?
That's weird.
How is that? You don't like cinematic adventures?
That's weird. Like, no, that's the opposite. So, times change. Weirdness changes. Some of our weirdness is genius. Some of our weirdness is schizophrenia picking up poop on the street. That's weird.
100% bowler hat. Maybe he was running to grab that piece of paper to clean up his poop. It's like, if he just pooped his pants, it looked like he was running to a bathroom. That's more logical.
He was moving way too fast.
You don't know how fast it's coming out.
That's true. There's laws of science, there's laws of state, there's etiquette, and there's awkwardness.
Yeah,
I think
destiny, fate,
our lives.
Fight or flight, strange behavior, weird events.
Are you strange?
Ghosts, supernatural.
Are we strange? Are you strange?
All powerful.
Doctor Strange. Marvel. Bizarre.
Disney.
The occult. Disney.
Dropping names here.
Anyway, those were all the hashtags for the episode. Thanks for tuning in. We got our socials. Click here, click there, click. I don't care where the hell you click. It's weird if you click. It's weird if you don't click.
Decide for yourself.
Yeah, and maybe that's what weird is. Decide for yourself.
If,
Life's short.
Yeah.
Be
Either
weird.
way, we like you folks.
We like you a lot, and I like weird people better. Do you?
Yeah, they add a spice to life. That's just you can't predict how they're gonna be.
100% agree. Be weird. Just don't sniff my kids.
Good night.
See ya.